I think when you can be that honest with yourself and what you know and what you don't know, I think that's a sign of a hopefully good leader.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think it's fine to over communicate and just be open and honest.
I think leadership skills, right? To find out how do you react and how do you respond if you respond, because sometimes you just need to say, yeah, I will let that one go.
Don't pretend that you know everything, because you don't. And that's just really foolish. And, it's not a sign of weakness to say, hey, I have no idea of that answer, but you know what? I do know somebody who knows something about that, and I'm going to reach out for help. That I don't see that as a sign of weakness. I think that's a strength, and I think that's some of my best advice that I've gotten.
Everybody's having that feeling; they're just good at hiding it. So I think it's just you're doing great. You're doing great.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're listening to Leadership Manufacturing Podcast. I'm your host, Sannah Vinding. I'm a strategic leader with over 20 years of experience in B2B marketing, product development, and building high-impact leadership skills across teams. I'm passionate about sharing insights, I hope you can see it, and tools to help professionals enhance their leadership skills. In each episode, we discuss relevant topics for leaders like you, offering practical strategies, valuable insights, and it's all to help you refine your leadership styles and also drive success in your role. I interview professionals within the manufacturing industry, the distribution sector, and they all share their knowledge around leadership. So make sure to follow us, like and subscribe, check out our YouTube channel or the website. Just search for Leadership in Manufacturing. Enjoy the episode. Welcome back to Leadership Manufacturing Podcast. Today, we're diving into the story of Amy Anahory. She is the CEO and owner of MicroPower Direct, a family-founded power electronics company. Amy didn't come from a technical background. With her degrees in political science and marketing, she stepped into her father's company nearly 2 decades ago and has since guided it through supply chain disruption, rapid product growth, and industry shifts. She's sharing what it is to modernize a family business and how she's building a culture of trust and resilience, and why kindness, flexibility, and curiosity are essential leadership skills. So get ready. This episode is packed with lessons on leading through uncertainty, empowering lean teams, and shaping the next generation of electronics and manufacturing leadership. Enjoy. So welcome to Leadership Manufacturing Podcast. I'm excited. I have a new guest today, and I want to welcome Amy. Amy, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. This is honestly my first podcast. So
you will be amazing.
Very excited.
Yeah, you will be amazing. Just wait for it. No, I always love, because within the industry, right, because I have the real people that I interview, which I really like. And I think that's the whole essence of this podcast. So I want to understand, what's your passion for the industry?
Yeah, thank you for asking. So I'm going to be perfectly honest. It has been an evolving passion. We are a family company. My father started the company 26 years ago. I joined 18 years ago, and it really honestly was not my first choice. I was pregnant with my second child. My dad could finally afford to hire me, and I said, okay, you know what? I am thrilled to work with my father, and you can't get much more flexible than working for your father with a growing family.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I'm ready to come on board. And that was 18 years ago, and here I am.
Yeah.
So it's been amazing. I was so blessed to, and still am, to work with my father for that long. And I've grown to love electronics. It is so amazing to, be driving around or going in stores, and I can say to my kids, hey, we could be, or we are in that application or that product. And it is just amazing. I mean, sometimes it seems like perhaps some of our power supplies are kind of small, but without them, an entire application can't be running. And that is just, it's amazing.
Oh, I
So
love it.
I love it
I
now.
love that you're so proud, and I love that you will tell your kids application, right? When you change the product, but that's just your technical brain here. No,
Well,
I
they're
love it.
learning.
Yeah.
They have no choice. They are stuck learning.
Oh, I'm a geek. So if I'm actually watching a movie, because my first job I worked for a lighting fixture company from back in Denmark, and they're really famous. They're like architectural light fixtures. But if I see one, if we are traveling, or if I watch it, or when we watch a movie and I see it, I'm like, and they're like, let's just watch the movie, right? But I'm like, did you see the table on the, on the light on the table, right? I'm like, that is from that company. So
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it can
It's
be
good to be
tough to
proud.
separate.
Yeah, but it's
It
good to
is.
be proud, right? That is so important. So, okay, I wanna learn more about your leadership style, right? Because it sounds like it has evolved. So, if can you pick a few things you can share of how it have changed? Because working in a family, the whole family dynamic company, but also I think with the pandemic, even though it's 5 years ago, right? There's still a lot of things that has changed you, and also as a mom, I think I'm a mom, right? That changed you as well of how you prioritize things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think being a mom of three kids is definitely good experience for leadership.
Yeah.
um, so I think I've changed a bit. I'm not necessarily the best delegator by nature. Part of that is also I'm not always the most patient of people. I mean, I can't imagine how many times my husband's come home to all the furniture moved and new art on the walls, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Well, why didn't
What
you
happened
wait for
here?
me?" And I'm like, "Well, why would I wait? I could just do it
Yeah.
myself. That's a lot easier. So, but that's really not actually how to lead a functioning and happy team. So it's still a bit of a work in progress,
Yeah.
but sometimes you have to step back and realize that yes, we may have to go through a learning curve with our team to get them up and on board doing new things, but it is not healthy for me to be doing all of those things, partly because nobody has the time for that. And I only have one point of view. I mean, I'm trying to evolve that, but it's so much better when other people are getting involved with all of that. So it's a work in progress,
Yeah.
but I'm getting much better at it. And being able to communicate that with our small, lean team just makes us all better functioning and happier.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure, right, when you are running a small team, you are wearing many more hats, right? It's not that just one person has like one title, or maybe they do have one title, but they actually have more responsibilities, right, in different teams or across anything else. So, how do
We
you
do.
tackle that, or any advice on like how do you communicate to make sure that everybody are on that same page?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's so to kind of go back a little bit, we've been lucky that a lot of our team members have been with us for a really long time. Our applications engineer has been with us over 20 years. Our customer support manager is honestly my aunt, and she's been here for a long time.
Ah,
But, it is really important to communicate to new hires
yeah.
just what a close knit and lean team we are, because it's not for everyone. Because you may come in on the marketing team, but you know what, if we've got a lot of shipments going out that day, you're going to maybe go out and count some of those parts and make
Yeah.
sure that order is okay. So you have to just be really flexible with that. And that's partly just hiring the right people, because it is a different mindset than some other companies, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. But it's also like you just said it, right? Having that right mindset helps also to understand how the dynamic and how the whole company works, right? And what's the mission, what's the vision, and everything else. And I'm pretty sure as well by being in different teams, even if you go out and saying, okay, today we just need to make this shipment, right? So everybody hands on, everybody's out here, right?
Mhm.
It helps building, it's like team bonding as well, right? Because there's some proud and being, yes, we did it, right? That's
It
also, that has to give some kind of effect of within your company.
I think it does. I think it does. I mean, I would assume that no one on this team would not feel valued and needed, because again, we are lean. So I
Yeah.
mean, one person's not here and we struggle. I
Yeah.
mean, so
No
Yes.
vacation. Okay, I heard that. No.
Oh my gosh. I mean, you
No.
know, if I could insist upon that, perhaps I would. but it is. Everybody, you know, we communicate very well together, and everyone is very much needed, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Just the feeling, right? That you actually have a seat at the table, right? I think it's so important. Yeah.
Exactly.
How do you navigate, right? Because I'm sure with the family, right? And then you have the company, and like when you have discussions, right? Are you at home? Are you in the office, right? How do you navigate? When do we talk business? When do we not talk business? You just talk business.
That
No.
that is perhaps a sore subject. um, it it's difficult, and I'm not super great at that boundary yet. I mean, the MicroPower Direct was started by my father 26 years ago. It's been such an integral, important part of our family for so long. It's hard to separate. I try, but it's difficult. I mean, my mother sometimes will laugh that, you know, she'd like to put a sign on the door, no talking business. And I'm sure my kids are pretty tired of hearing about the company, but you know, you try, but it's super important to me. And it's
your
super
DNA,
important to my
right?
family.
Yeah, and it's your DNA as well. It's not that.
It is. It is. It is. So it's a work in progress. I'm trying to have a little bit more boundaries, but it's hard. It's hard. I mean, it's so important to me, and I love it so much that it's generally top of mind.
Yeah, all the time. No, but that's your passion, right? And the DNA, and maybe just looking outside, maybe you shouldn't change it, right? Just because you're saying, yeah, I'm working on it, just admit and saying that's how I am, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. And I mean it's overwhelming at times for sure, but it is my passion. It's what makes me happy. So yeah.
That's important. So leadership, right? Because again, just how you've stepped into this family company, because you are in the family, but still, and you've changed as a leader. How do you then continue to develop you as a good leader?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I think we can oftentimes get stuck or also just kind of get stuck in the weeds every day. You know, I find it difficult, especially on a lean team. You're doing so many things, and you know, and then you look up and it's 5 o'clock, and you're like, oh my gosh, really? Like, how did all of those hours go by? Just doing kind of mundane kind of things. So I think it's really important to keep evolving and just kind of stepping out of the weeds. So as an example, I'm most comfortable sitting in front of my desk, doing work, and, you know, that's it. I mean, I'm also the person who loves to be in my pajamas watching TV and going to bed at like 10 o'clock. So that's where I'm most comfortable. But I realize that's just not really how I should be doing my work all the time. So, you know, I made a concerted effort this year to get out more. So I've been attending more industry events, trying to be more involved in more, you know, industry groups and just meeting new people. And it's kind of uncomfortable for me. You know, people will laugh and they're like, Amy, you can really talk a lot. I don't understand what the problem is. I'm like, but it's a little out of my comfort zone. I'm not, you know, a natural networker. But I mean, being on this podcast is, you know, definitely out of my comfort zone. But by doing that, I am becoming a better leader, and it's, you know, it's better for myself and for the company. And I'm meeting so many amazing people and just expanding what I think about and all of that. So it's been really good, but you have to just kind of keep being curious and keep taking risks and changes that aren't really comfortable.
Yeah. I like that. And again, right? I think we all have it. You walk into a room or anything, right? An event, and if you know nobody, right? You're just like, but think about everybody else who don't know anyone, right? Or standing there and they're like, or maybe they have a coworker and then they're lucky because then they can stand and chat with that person.
Yes.
Everybody's having that feeling. They're just good at hiding it. So I think it's just, you're doing great. You're doing great.
Thank you. Thank you. It's funny because I'll always say to my kids, well, and it's fun too, because then I can keep saying to my kids, I'm like, hey, look at what mom is doing. Like, I am doing all these things that are not comfortable.
Yeah.
You guys have got whatever is going on. You can do these things too. But yeah, it's tough when you go alone.
Yeah, it is. It's like for your kids, right? Stop texting, just call them, right? It's faster. So
yes.
No. I'm just pausing the episode for a few seconds because I want to make sure you know that we have a newsletter and you signed up for it. So go to leadershipmanufacturing.com, sign up for the newsletter. We share new episodes and also when we have some great leadership learnings to share. Sign up today. Back to the episode. Okay, so the whole leadership, I really like that, the development and you're pushing yourself. I think it's so important that you keep growing that way. Yeah. But how do you know if you're a good leader?
Oh, that's a good question. I ask myself that all the time. And, it's difficult to know. So, part of this pushing yourself myself is now I'm becoming more active on LinkedIn. And it's been amazing to, again, make so many more connections and, have people get to know me and get to know my company more. And a few months ago, I had posted something about one of our products, and I had a keyboard warrior, come out and say, well, you're not even an engineer. And the implication, I suppose, was, how dare you talk about one of your company's own products? And at first it stung.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Okay. And then I realized, you know what? Yeah. I'm not an engineer. I've never pretended to be an engineer. And that's not what I am good at. I don't pretend to design our products or know exactly what applications they go in. And that is not my strong suit. My strong suit is being a hopefully good leader and, building great teams. And I think when you can be that honest with yourself and what you know and what you don't know, I think that's a sign of a hopefully good leader.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that. And again, right, if you are on any social platform, it's so easy for somebody just to say something bad.
Yes.
Right. It's so you can just hide. They're just hiding behind it, right? If they were standing in front of you, I don't think you will say the same. That's a difference, right? In the written and then actually being in front of a person. So I think that's another, I think, leadership skills, right? To find out how do you react and how do you respond if you respond, because sometimes you just need to say, yeah, I will let that one go.
Exactly. It amazes me how many people are just not kind. I mean, I really, I think that's just so important. And not everybody believes in kindness, I don't think.
No, we should. Back to customer service, right? Be kind. I'm still learning.
Exactly.
Well, there to help you.
Yes.
Okay, I wanna talk a little bit about, again, because you're saying the lean team, right? And have to have the teamwork and the collaboration. Do you have any special events, or do you create a certain kind of meeting, or when you host meetings? Do you do anything specific, if it's monthly, weekly, to make sure that everybody is actually feeling that part of the big team here?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I think I've evolved on that. We used to have weekly meetings and they would go on forever. And we would just sit there and talk, and an hour and a half would go by and we're like, okay, great. And it was just, it became something of just kind of like, oh gosh, okay, it's Friday at 10 o'clock. Here we go again.
Yeah.
So we don't really, they weren't necessarily the most productive. So in our office in the middle, we have a couch and a few chairs. And so we're much more informal now. If there's something going on, somebody will just come sit out there and we'll all just kind of go out and chat.
Yeah.
We'll do check-ins, but they're much more short and casual,
Nice.
which just works a lot better for us. And having a couch out there, it's comfortable. We can all just go hang out, and it's much easier than having
Yeah.
a lot of formal meetings.
Yeah. I like that. I really like that. I also learned over the years, right? If you book, if it's an hour, if it's 90 minutes, you spend all that time. If you just book a 15 minutes or 20 minutes, you will make it in that time frame. So
Yes.
that's another, I think, indication, because when somebody walks in and like, oh, this is an hour meeting, and you're like sitting, right? But if 15, oh my God, you cannot sit and do something else. You are, you have
Get
to be
down to
there.
it.
Yeah, get down to it. But that's it's just an indication when you walk in, right? To say, hey, the expectation, we can do this if it's just 20 minutes, right? Push it. I think that's important, just to say, let's just,
Yeah.
try it, because if you go a little bit over, that's fine, right? But then you're still saving time, and having everyone sitting there, sometimes it is waste of time if you have too many people.
Yes. Yeah. We all have too many meetings.
Yeah, right. And too many emails sometimes as well. But yeah.
Too much of everything.
Yeah. No, I've learned as well that with emails, instead of doing it in the morning, I'll scan through and saying, okay, anything urgent, anything burning. If not, instead of sitting and looking and deleting and sorting and finding out, what to do, I'm best in the morning. So I'm like, okay, let me just do it later the day, and then let me focus on the critical or the products that's actually on prioritization. So
Yes.
you need to find out, right, when everything it is working. And then sometimes don't have meetings spread out. I think that's another one that can ruin your flow.
Yes. I would agree with you. And it's funny, on emails, one of my biggest pet peeves is if you have an email and it's with a few people, and then there's like 50 emails that go back and forth with a question on each
Right.
one. And I'm like, oh my gosh. At that point, we all would have just been so much better off picking up the phone
You are
and
in the couch.
chatting for a second. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've just spent a half an hour going through
Yeah.
the email chain of figuring this out. Yeah.
No, it isn't. So, want to talk a little bit supply chain and the uncertainty, right? The last couple of years, every year has been different. There's been different disruptions, if you want to say it. And I believe that's just how the world is, right? That is how it is. Nothing will stop and saying nothing happened. 2026, 2027, there will be new things happening in the world or within the industry. So how do you keep your team and your customers like confident on what's, this is the future, we are on the right path, this is where we're going?
Yeah, it's a good question. It can be really hard, especially when things are hard out there. So, I think I have a few points on that. I think we keep going back to communication, and I think that's really kind of the key, to communicate even when you have no idea of the answer.
Yeah.
I think some people get kind of stuck on that. I see no problem communicating and saying, listen, we haven't forgotten about you, but we really don't have an answer yet, but we're working on it. We really value you. We
Yeah.
haven't forgotten about you, but we have no answer yet. So sometimes I think it's fine to over communicate and just be open and honest. And that goes with your team also. I mean, I have no problem saying, yeah, I'm nervous. I'm not super happy with what's going on with some things right now, but
Yeah.
it's going to be okay for us in particular. We've been
Yeah.
around for 26 years. This is not our first storm, and
Oh.
it can get difficult, but we'll get through it. And, just continuously being open and communicating,
Yeah.
I think can alleviate a lot of fears, because
Yeah.
there's a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be nervous about.
Yeah, but I really like what you're saying here with the communication, right? Because if it's a customer or if it within your team members, if you do not communicate, that worry, right, that can just grow even more. That uncertainty can grow even more, and it could be really, really bad for everyone, right? So just saying that we're working on it, we don't have an answer yet. You know that you have them on top of your mind, right? And that's important.
Exactly, exactly. And and I also think it's important, especially in uncertainty, to validate that it's okay to be nervous. I
Yeah.
mean, we can all be, and we can all be worried, and that's a perfectly natural feeling, and it's okay, but
Yeah.
we're all in it together, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah. I like it. I like it. I want to touch a little bit on leadership skills, or just skills to be a leader, or being, in a bigger team or smaller team or lean team.
Mhm.
So what kind of skills do you look for if you're expanding or want to develop like a new member within your team?
Yeah. So, particularly for our team, I mean, we've touched upon this a little bit, but I think flexibility and curiosity are two really strong traits to have. Again, flexible, you got to be out there packing the boxes every once in a while. So,
Yeah.
and to go along with that, be humble. I mean, there's nothing that is too small or too big to do,
Yeah.
and be curious, because again, in a smaller lean team, you're going to be asked to do a lot of different roles, so always be curious
Yeah.
about those different roles, because honestly, especially if it's somebody new and just starting out. I mean, I went to school for political science and marketing. uh, I lead an electronics company now. There was
Yeah.
clearly a pivot at some point. So, I
Maybe more
mean,
than one. Yeah.
yes, yes, this is a very windy road for me. And and I think being okay with that, and knowing that, you may have come in one role.
Yeah.
If you leave, you may have been in a different role, and always just be curious to learn more, and to take on challenges, and just to sometimes raise your hand and say, yeah, I can do that project. And it's okay to go back to your office and be like, oh my god,
Yeah.
what did I just sign up for? I have no idea how to do
Yeah.
that. And that's okay. Just try not to say no to things too
Yeah.
often.
Yeah. But I think sometimes, right, if you say yes, right, in some teams or some companies, and it could also maybe be on size, like if you do it, right, it's like, certainly, oh my God, now that I'm adding that to my responsibility, right? Now I own that forever.
That's true.
Yeah. So I think being open as well, and say, hey, let me be part of it to kickstart it, and then let's find out where it lands and who owns it. Having that kind of conversation can open up much more, so you can be that curious. Is getting a team together, or having somebody like raising their hand and saying, yes, I want to be part of this, and to kick it off.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Good. I want to ask you the best advice you have had, got from within your leadership role. And I'm sure it could be from your dad, but let's just hear, what kind of advice have you received over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I know. I mean, not everybody can say that, they learned some of their leadership skills from one of their most favorite people in the entire world. So, I mean, I'm super, super lucky to have been working with my dad for 18 years. I mean,
Yeah.
it's amazing. And it's just so cool because, for a long time, I mean, he was my dad. So I was like, okay, and it's been incredible to see him as such a leader, and, leading MPD.
Yeah.
And I think I've just gotten my openness, and the ability to say, yeah, I do know a lot. I am confident in myself and my abilities, but heck, there's so much that I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. And to be honest, and to ask for help. I think that's some of the best advice is, don't pretend that you know everything, because you don't. And that's just really foolish. And, it's not a sign of weakness to say, hey, I have no idea of that answer,
Yeah.
but you know what? I do know somebody who knows something
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to reach out for help. That I don't see that as a sign of weakness.
No.
I think that's a strength. And I think that's some of my best advice that I've
Yeah.
gotten.
I like it's also like saying, right, I don't know it right now, but I will research and I will find out if it's reaching out to your network. It's like problem solving, right? Because if you was just sitting in your little silo, who knew that what you will come up with would actually be the best answer or the best solution? So so kudos for that. And I think you just saying as well, right? Going out and network as well and attending these events is helping you to all these problem solving as well. Now you know who to call, right?
It's amazing too, because you go to all these events and you meet so many amazing people, and I've just been finding it fascinating. And I mean, this is just life. You meet somebody and you're like, okay, I like this person. I think we can be friends. I'm not sure of exactly how we can help each other right now. And then a few months down the road, you're like, oh my gosh, I could use their skill set. Or, hey, this opportunity just came by me. I have no need for it, but I do know somebody who could use this opportunity. So it's been fascinating to find people to help you and to find people that you can help. It's been great.
It's great. Any tips for how do you remember everybody's names? I need a tip here.
Okay, so that is, I am so terrible with names and faces. I honestly see nothing wrong with name badges.
Good.
I mean,
thank you.
I really think we should all have our name written on every piece of clothing.
Yeah, right. Doing grocery shopping. I am.
Oh my gosh, it's terrible. It's terrible.
I'm not the only one. I'm glad to hear that. It's just No,
it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah. It's but I think things go so fast as well sometimes, right? With you have your emails, you have your job, right? You go to the events, and then it's just sometimes you just have to pause a little bit as well and saying, okay, these were the people I met, right? I don't know if you make notes or anything else, right? Saying, okay, this is what I need to use when I need to go out and get help again.
It's tough. I mean, that is not something I'm good at. I mean, it's a riot. I'll talk to some high school friends and they're like, yeah, so-and-so is, doing this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't remember that person, Yeah.
Don't feel bad. No. Okay. I have my last question. I love this one always. So Amy, if you have to go back in time and we can just say maybe 10 years, what kind of advice would you give yourself?
Oh, so I know 10 years, I think I would have to say, you know what, be patient with yourself and give yourself some grace. We've talked a bit about this earlier. My path has been a very windy road, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be a straight path. And I think also just to give other people grace. I mean, it can be difficult to balance, family and work, and it's okay if there are times when, one has to take priority over the other, and don't beat yourself up for it. I think it gets really, really hard to be kind of difficult on yourself, in the moment. And, when you're then 10 years out, you're like, damn, I did a really good job getting through that. Yeah. But sometimes it doesn't seem like it. So, I think you have to just let the process go and know that as long as you're doing the best that you can, it'll be okay.
Yeah. I like that. And be proud of it, right? Because I think and sometimes when you're in the moment, it feels like you're like this mountain you have to climb, right? And then after, if it's a couple of years, you look back and you're like, oh, that was like nothing. Exactly. But when you are in the moment, it there's a lot of feelings, right? It takes up a lot of, I don't know if you're worried or how do you solve it, all that. But be proud of it as well, even when you are in the moment and you feel you are climbing that mountain, and maybe it's not that big of a mountain, but be proud of it.
Yes, I like that too.
Yeah. Thank you, Amy. This was great. We connected here, right? I think that's that, right? And it's like from one coast to another coast, but I love it. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, now I can't wait to see you at an event in real life.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Thanks again for listening to this episode. I appreciate so much that you're here. And we are doing so awesome on YouTube. We have over 150,000 views. So be sure to follow us on YouTube, on the YouTube channel called Leadership Manufacturing. And of course, you should sign up for the newsletters as well, right? Because you want to stay in the loop when we have a new episode that comes out or when we actually are sharing some leadership tips. So again, go to leadershipmanufacturing.com, sign up today. And thank you so much for staying and listening to everything, the full episode. And remember, stay curious, keep learning. See you next time.